Alright, part 6 of the tutorial series. I kind of skipped over this specific part right here because in the last tutorial I did how to make the punching thing, the punching action and punching your own EXE as Knuckles, and in this one I'm going to be doing the red illusion ring, which is not in the original game technically, but it can be found in lots of fan games like the Disaster 2D remake, Spirits of Hell. I think Nightmare Beginning had it, I'm not sure. This might be the last section for Knuckles, since Knuckles' section of the original EXE game does not have too much to it. So we might move on to Eggman after this unless someone can come up with something else for Knuckles. Kinda all I have to say. Onto the video. So here we are in the Sonic.exe fan game thing that I've used for all the tutorials. So as always, I'm just going to show off what we're going to create first. So we have Knuckles here. This is the frame where he's able to punch. So if you watch the last tutorial, you might have that or might not. You should check it out if you want to create this punch. And as you can see here, we have the red ring. It's not really red because I just used an effect on it because I was too lazy to actually change the colors. But it's good enough. So if we touch it, you can see we go into illusion like crazy. There's Sonic.EXEs everywhere. The screen's all haywire. It's all flashy. It's all crazy. Yeah, fades away after about 10 seconds, I think it was. And if there's another red ring around, which there isn't another one around, but if you have another one around, then you can trigger it and it'll do the same exact thing. So I will say this, if you add this effect to your EXE game, even if it's just like a little bit and it's not too haywire, it doesn't matter. Still add an epilepsy or seizure warning on your EXE game because you don't want to be responsible for someone having a seizure or a possible death. So as always, we just take the test level, which I believe does still have the Knuckles punch for some reason. We copy it, we go into here, we'll just name it red ring test. I'll drag it up on here. We'll have a plain new level here. Knuckles does have the punch, but that's just from the last tutorial, which it copied over. So basically what we want to do first is find these two rings up here in this little rings column, and you want to find the object ring. Do not use the object moving ring, because basically the difference is this is the ring that like bounces everywhere when you get hit by something that you can still collect, but it bounces around and it'll fade after a little bit. But these rings, the object rings, is what you want to get because it's the rings that are all down here. So just get one of these. Sorry, clone it. You don't want to copy it, clone it, so that way it doesn't have any code on it. It's fresh, so that way we can add code to it. Make sure it's on whichever layer all of your player objects are on. So by default, that should be layer 3, but if you've added layers, it could be different, but layer 3 is the default, where basically the layer that has the starting point, layer that has all the characters, all the backdrops, everything. So just add it to that layer, and you can manually go in here and change all the colors if you have your own sprites. If you're using sprites online, then you can do that. Should probably rename it to red ring. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to add an effect that makes it close enough to be considered red. So I just do channel invert, check green, uncheck red, and it's close enough to red. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. So basically what we want to do first is get the sprites we actually need. So one of the things we're going to need is the classic seizure sprite, which is right here that Sonic's Gaming Hub has provided to us, thank God. And this is basically the sprite that plays when you're in like the FFF zone or in a Sonic.exe Spirits of Hell. It does also play. So you can save the image if you want, or you can right click and copy it. I'll link this in the description. And just make a new active, we'll need that later, just make a new active object, and you can, if you copied it, you can just Control V, paste it in there, yes, set it to the current size, and now we have the entire thing right here. So put this on the UI layer, which is layer 7, or you can put it on 8, but I would just put it on 7, and then you also want to go into here and uncheck follow the frame, because if you don't check that, then it'll act like a object in the level and it won't follow the frame. But if you uncheck that, then it'll stay on the frame here like it's a UI. Let's rename this to seizure, I guess. Yeah, we'll rename that to seizure. And basically here we want it to kind of animate to move around. Now instead of putting in all this code to like manually move it around and stretch it around and stuff, we can just straight up like make copy frames and like grab it and just like make it bigger or stretch it or something. This is what's done in some of the original and even still some newer EXE games. They just keep copying it and they kind of zoom in on it and keep zooming in, and then it loops by going back to the bigger frame. So you kind of just keep pasting it, keep zooming in on each one, try to get closer to a certain point in the level or in the sprite. I'm going for like this area right here, so just try to zoom more into a point. Don't have it go everywhere haywire. I mean, you can experiment with it all you want, and if you think like one way works better than another, then you go ahead and try that way. But this is just the recommended way that's done in like all the classic games. Okay, I think that is close enough. You can go as close as you want or as far as you want. I'll get rid of that one. I want to loop it obviously, and we'll play it here. And yeah, that will definitely that'll definitely cause some seizures. So that's kind of all we have to do for that. So now this is animated. You can drag it in whatever corner of the screen you want it to. I'm gonna put it like around the sort of corner-ish, middle-ish area. And then we also want to add transparency, so we can simply go to blend thing in here and change this. You can mess around with this all you want. The maximum is 255, so just kind of play around with these values. I'd recommend doing 100, but play around and see what you think. And another thing we have to do now, this, if you have a sprite for it, you can do it, but whether you plan on having one or not, we're gonna have to make one. So hide this layer so it's out of the way, but we basically want to make this background kind of flash around a bit. So you're gonna have to go here and unlock the layer because it should be locked by default. And that is a backdrop, so that's not gonna be animated. So we want to right click it, click create, and click active object, which basically what this does is it creates an active object out of this sprite. So now we can like make frames and animate this. Just name this to seizure background or BG, whichever you want. Still keep this in here because we want to save that for when we're not in the illusion mode. And just kind of try to center it the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect because it'll be flashing everywhere. But basically, you kind of want to, inside Clickteam's editor, you can just take this rectangle tool and make it like about 60 or 40. I wouldn't go any lower or higher, but 60 or 40, whichever you want to do, maybe even 50 in the middle. But kind of just take random colors from here, like kind of click random, drag it over, copy it, click a random color, drag it over. Even if they're mixing colors, like it's fine, it's no big deal. Like pick a random color, drag it over. Kind of just keep doing this until you feel like okay, well, it might be blending too much a little. Keep doing this until you feel kind of satisfied with what you've done here. It does kind of fill it up a little bit more, but that doesn't really matter too much. If you want to like take one of these and paste it again, then you can do that. But you know what, here, I'll do this. This is probably like around 10, then you kind of want to stop here, and you do want to have one that's just a normal background. So if we might have to, yeah, we do have to loop it, but quick little epilepsy warning. And okay, that should work. It kind of is not what I was expecting, but that should work. Really, just the flashing colors do kind of, it came out a bit differently when I did this. Like, it didn't eventually fill up the screen like that. That's a little weird, but it's kind of it for that. If you have your own like sprites for an illusion background, you can add that in, or you can just do this cheap little strat. But we have that now, so we want to make that invisible by default, so uncheck visible at start, and then if we bring these back, this one here, we also want to uncheck visible at start. If you want to run the game real quick and have that visible, you can see how it looks, but I'm not going to do that. And lock the background again, just because we're not really going to need it. But okay, so now we want to set it up to where if we touch the red ring, then it'll cause everything. Actually, no, I'm wrong. There's still one more thing I should mention. You don't have to do it, but it is something good. Something that I've seen around, or like not seen too much, but I do think is pretty cool, is having like ghost versions of your exe appear kind of everywhere. Like say for example, I might if I go to this one from previous tutorial, Knuckles Punch, I could like grab this Sonic.exe sprite real quick, go back to here, paste it in here, give him like a let's say like a subtract effect. Okay, I think I got, how about the, yeah, say you give him like an inverted effect right here, make him invisible at start, and we'll also just make him reappear like these ones as well. So you can kind of just copy these and scatter them everywhere. If you want to flip them, you'd have to clone it and then flip it and then like copy those for flipped ones, but that's optional. If you have sprites for your exe that you want to do of it being everywhere, you can do that, but this is just the most I'm gonna do for this. Now we want to set up, as you can see, Knuckles Punch code is here, but now we want to set up the red ring. So let's just make a new group so it's all sorted out. Let's call it red ring. So firstly, what we want to do is this green object called the player. We want to do collisions, overlapping another object. Make sure you do overlapping. If you do collision with, it will not work, but I'll say overlapping, and should be your red ring. Mine, it doesn't look red because the effect won't show here, but if you change the sprites, it will show. So just find whatever your red ring is, do that, and first thing, we want to make everything show up. So kind of try to find wherever they are. Here they are. So firstly, on the red ring, we want to destroy it because we want to get rid of it. On the seizure, we want to make that reappear, and same with these two here. You can just drag the reappear thing and just make all of them reappear. And then we want to do music as well. So for the music, I have this tone right here, which is the from Sonic.exe Spirits of Hell, the illusion music. So this is the music that plays when you're in the illusion mode, and it goes on, so you can use that, or if you have your own music, use that. And then here for the getting the ring, this just has a bunch of Sonic.exe sound effects, but for the getting the ring, this is technically for the black ring, because I actually couldn't find a sound effect for the red ring, but this is good enough to use. So hold on a, so that sound effect right there where he says die, that's technically for the black ring, but it's good enough to use for this one. So I have them downloaded already, but I'll link both of these in the description so you can use them. It is around the, I'll just say exactly the 0:39 second mark. That's where the ring get sound effect is, if you want to use that. When it overlaps with it, we want to do samples, play and loop sample. You don't have to play and loop it unless you plan on having it where it's a system where you have to do something for the illusion to go away. If you have like a timer where like if you hit it, the illusion will stay for a bit, but then after a few seconds it goes away, you don't have to loop the music, but it's just okay to still do that. So I already have it right here, but basically if you want import, just click from file and then find wherever it is in your files, but I have it right here, so that can play. Do 0 for continuous loop, and then what we also want to do is stop the main music. So what we do is stop. You can either do stop, or you can, something I'd actually recommend is doing pause a sample and find out wherever the default music of the level is. So in this case that'd be Door into Summer from Knuckles Chaotix, and we want to pause that, or you can stop it, but that just means it'll restart when the illusion's over. But we just pause that. We also want to play the sound of collecting it, so that's just right here for me. So that'll just play when we collect it. So now that's all the sounds, that's everything. So if we go in here and try that out, we can technically do it as any character, but I'll just show you real quick. As you can see, it's going everywhere, it's going crazy. Sonic here, it's going crazy as well. Okay, we'll have to fix the layers on him, but that'll just keep going forever. But something I forgot to check is the layers. Yeah, they're on layer 7. That's not the right way there. Make sure they're on layer 3. Anything that's like an object that's in the level. But alright, so that's that, but that will go forever. So basically, if you want a timer kind of event, then you do fire event, let's say 10 seconds. Name this whatever you want. I'll just name it stop. But under the new condition, we want to do on event. Make sure you type in the same exact thing. You gotta make sure it's the exact same. Any capitals, like say, if I made that lowercase, that would not work because it's different. So make sure it's if when you type it up, you can kind of look at it there and look at it here and make sure it's the same. It is. So now on here, we want to resume Dawn to summer, and then we will just stop a specific sample and click the illusion music, and that will stop the music. And then on the sprites here, the ring, we don't have to do anything, but for all the seizure stuff here, just visibility, make them invisible. And that is it so far for the ring. We're not done yet, but so if we click here, they're everywhere, music playing, it's going crazy, but after about 10 seconds it should go away. As you can see, it went away. We're completely back to normal now. Music's back, the music just resumed, and that should be it for that. Something else I recommend doing, if your EXE is gonna be like this, where it's a ghost kind of thing, to kind of add the effect that like it's a ghost, it's not real, it's an illusion, you can add a blending thing to it and make it slightly transparent. And that is it for just the ring there. Something else you want to do, this would really only be if you have multiple characters in your level, but this, if you want to do this, you don't have to, but if you want to, just, this is to make it where it's only collectible if you're playing as Knuckles. Like if you're playing as someone else and you touch the ring, it's not going to work. So you can just do here, game mode or game character, set it to 2, and basically if we overlap the ring and game character is equal to 2, then it'll do everything, which means if we touch it as Knuckles, it works. So say if we do Sonic, doesn't work. If we do Tails, doesn't work. If we do Amy, doesn't work. If we do Shadow, doesn't work. But then if we do Knuckles, it does work. So that's just a little extra. You don't have to do that. But something else I should do, if you want the frame to just start with Knuckles automatically, then just under start a frame, global, and set game character to 2. And that'll just set the character to Knuckles at the very start of the frame. Alright, so something else I did kind of forget to do was the kind of like swirl screen effect, if you want to do that. So hide this layer so it's out of the way, but in this version of Simple Sonic Worlds, we already have this kind of perspective here to give us an underwater effect that only appears when we're underwater. I wouldn't recommend like trying to build it off of this one, because this one has a bunch of code in it. So just clone it and then name it like I don't know, do something goofy. No one's ever gonna see it, but just put it right on top of here, and you can, and the sine wave, I mean, you can do whatever effect you want. You can experiment with these all you want. You can just test around stuff, but I kind of just, whichever one you do, just kind of make it haywire, like make it so crazy that barely anyone can like even figure out what's going on. Maybe that, and to test it off, just have it visible at the start at first when you load in, so you can just see I do kind of like this, but it is kind of easy to see where you're going. So I'm gonna do vertically there. I'm gonna see how it looks. So in the middle it does kind of look better, but as you can see, it is kind of crazy that it is hard to, well, you get, stop the music. Okay. You can see it is kind of crazy. It's hard to maneuver around and find out what you're trying to do. So you can experiment with that all you want, figure out what you want to do, but really just make this invisible at the start, and basically just like the rest of these right here, it's not going to be over here, it's going to be back here somewhere. Yeah, find the correct one, and like the other ones, just visibility up, don't do that, you can just put that there, but make it reappear when you touch the red ring and make it disappear when the timer hits stop. I think that is it. This is kind of a quick and easy thing. So now you can see we're in illusion, there's Sonic.exe's, and it's kind of going crazy, but then it stops and we're back to normal. And if you like want to have multiple rings in a stage, like you can take this and copy it. Both of them will work just as normal. So say you want to hit that one up, well, I didn't put it on the right layer. Yeah, make sure it's on the right layer or else it's not going to work. So yeah, that got put on layer 6. So make sure it's on whichever the player layer is, which is 3 by default. So go over here, it does throw you an illusion. The other one is still there, and the only thing that happens if you hit it while you're in illusion is that the music just starts again, but that's all that happens. But then if you want to do it again, it's right here, you're going in illusion, like going kind of haywire, kind of crazy. So that is kind of it for the red ring illusion. At this point, it's kind of just like add whatever you want. Like say you want an EXE, like say in Spirits of Hell, like you want an EXE chasing you while you're in the illusion. You can just have him like chasing you, but then stop him when you're not in illusion, but then start his movement and make him visible when you are in illusion. So yeah, from here it's kind of just add what you want depending on your EXE game, what you want to be seen in illusion. Like say you want certain pathways to disappear or appear, kind of like in Spirits of Hell. I think that's kind of it. I might be moving on to Eggman after this, unless someone else can come up with something to do as Knuckles. I can't believe I missed this though. Like I almost did move on to Eggman, and then I realized, and then I think I saw some old footage of Spirits of Hell, and I saw the illusion ring, and I'm like, wait a minute, I never showed how to do that. What was I thinking? Probably because it wasn't in the original Sonic.exe game, but it's a common thing in newer fan games. So close to I don't think I was able to say this, but we hit 900 subscribers. I think we're at like around 936 at the time I'm saying this, but so close to that 1,000 mark. Start letting me know if you want me to do anything special for 1,000, because I don't really have any plans for it, which, as much as it sounds like it sucks, like you don't have plans for 1,000 subscribers, like that's a big milestone. I actually like can't think of much to do. So if you want anything that I should do, like a special tutorial or something different than a tutorial, then let me know in the comments. I do love reading your comments. I do love helping people as well. So if you get stuck and like trying to figure out something, let me know. I'll try my best to help out. And that should be it from me. And I will see you all in the next tutorial. Goodbye.